How many people in China really support the Communist Party's annexation of Taiwan? Whatever military or cultural attacks. The standard answer to the CCP propaganda agency, which includes those Taiwanese who have been half brainwashed by Chinese propaganda, is that 1.3 billion people. Because the CCP propaganda said all day long, Taiwan should not underestimate the will of China's 1.3 billion people. No common sense. It should be said 1.4 billion people. That is the latest total population number. Let me show you how to calculate. 30 of preschool children are deducted, the remaining 980 million. There are about 800,000 adults from Taiwan excluding children and criminals working and studying in China. If you know a little about China's social life, you will know that the integrity, friendliness and tolerance of Taiwanese will make the Chinese people around them feel that Taiwan has the advantage that China will not be cultivated for another 50 years. So every Taiwanese in China will have at least 100 people around them feeling the value of Taiwan, and they feel that Taiwan should not be merged by the communists. This was also removed about 80 million. In a closed-door meeting in Beijing, a young expert who studied Taiwan did not shy from saying, "I have found that those young people who have studied in Taiwan and free traveling all have a good opinion of Taiwan," and begin to question why unification. How many of these young people? At least 500,000 people. Under the same sociological principle, their favorable impression of Taiwan's value and their questioning of Communist Party propaganda will subtly affect 50 million of people. Similarly, in the past 17 years, the total number of Chinese tourists to Taiwan was 26 million. And how many of them have felt the value of hospitality and tolerance in Taiwanese society? Let's calculate by 30% of them, that is 7.8 million people. After returning to their home, the scope of communication and spread will be 780 million people. I do not know how many Chinese you know, and I know countless people. Among them as long as the family to travel to Taiwan. When they're back home, no exception always spread everywhere the value of life in Taiwan. Oh, it's only 70 million people left over based on this calculation. Counting another one number that some readers may find unpleasant, but science is science. Taiwan is the most tolerant country in Asia for same-sex relations, and all Asians know it. According to the scientific literature, homosexual tendencies accounted for 4% to 10% of the population. Taking the lowest 4% of the 980 million adults mentioned above, there are about 40 million Chinese adults would think that Taiwan was his or her holy land. Removing those groups that knew Taiwan's inclusive value, leaving 30 million. Of course, this group and the previously calculated group may be overlapped, but the figure is almost negligible. So, are there 30 million Chinese who wholeheartedly support the CCP's propaganda and really want to annex Taiwan? No, please allow me to see the problem through another kind of structural analysis. The term Chinese in Taiwanese society can be divided into three types. 1. Intent on annexing and destroying Taiwan. 2. Some fear of the authority of the first type, who is talking same words in his mouth but knows in his heart that annexing Taiwan is actually unfavorable to China in the future, including many high-level CCP members. 3. Ordinary people can be brainwashed, but can be brainwashed to the direction 1, can also be washed to the direction 2. The first type is a very small number of people in power, up to 20,000s, or even as few as thousands, who are enemies of Taiwan. There are several hundred million in the second type. They are the ones who Taiwan people should know how to win for the United Front. Unfortunately, the present government almost completely does not know how to do it, or deliberately does not do it to defraud the votes. The third kind of person is like the grass on the wall, could ignore them. Furthermore, the vast majority of the 20,000 people or so who genuinely want to annex Taiwan have emigrated with their families. So there are only thousands of Taiwan's enemies within China who are genuinely committed to the CCP. If you do understand this point, you will not be fooled by the United Front and the 5-cent groups of CCP. I have heard some people's comments. The Liberation Army in China has 2 million people, This is a hard-hitting power. How can we say that China really wants to annex Taiwan only has thousands of people? This is another topic. I'll talk about it next time.